I retired about 6 months ago, long enough now that I can sit down and share with you the 12 things that vanished once I stopped working. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I spent over 30 years in warehouse and distribution operations, started as a dispatcher, ended up as an operations manager. But after watching my 401k nearly disappear during the great financial crisis, I got serious about educating myself on money. So the first 6 things on this list are going to be about the financial side, and the second 6 are about the mental and psychological changes. Let's get into it. The first thing that vanished was my risk tolerance. Now look, I still hopefully have 20, maybe 30 years ahead of me, so the time horizon is still long. But the pain of loss? That hit different once the paycheck stopped. When the stock market dropped before, I could shrug it off because new money was going in every 2 weeks. Now if the market drops 20, 30, 40%, I can't just top things up. There's no new money flowing in. So it's critical that your investment strategy reflects that shift. And for me, it wasn't a small shift. The pain of watching my portfolio dip now compared to when I was working, night and day. The next thing, and by the way, all of these start with the letter R, so hopefully that helps you remember. The next thing that changed was my retirement accounts. Once I stopped working, I couldn't put new money into my 401k anymore. And because I'm closing in on Medicare age, my ability to fund a health savings account is about to vanish too, because Medicare isn't a high-deductible health plan. You need one of those to use an HSA. So that whole savings vehicle just disappears. Next up is revenue. The paycheck stopped. And I'll be honest, that felt scary at first. Now, if you have a pension, you've still got money coming in every month, and that's incredibly valuable. I don't have one, but I'll tell you this. If somebody offered me a choice between a pension and the same dollar amount as a lump sum, I'd take the pension every time. Because here's what I learned from years of reading about this stuff. People who have a check coming in every month spend that money more confidently. They know another check is on its way. If you get a lump sum instead, you're carrying the investment risk yourself. I'd rather someone else carry that risk and just know the check is coming. The next one is rewarding yourself. And what I mean by that is you have to start flexing your spending muscle. For 30 plus years, I was a saver. Every spare dollar went somewhere responsible. And now I have to flip that switch and actually spend. That's harder than it sounds. So my advice is start practicing a couple of years before you retire. Loosen up a little. Spend on yourself. Get comfortable with the idea that you don't have to save every single dime. You've earned it. Next is living regret-free. This money we've saved, yes, it's for safety and security, but it's also the tool that lets us live our best life. And I want you to live your best life, because we are rapidly running out of some days. Someday I'll take that trip. Someday I'll visit the grandkids more. Someday I'll do that thing I've been putting off. Well, someday is today. If you've got the health, if you've got the resources, if you've got the desire, do it now. My dad had a massive stroke at 59. My older brother had a triple bypass at 57. I watched what waiting did to them. Don't assume you'll have the physical health or the mental sharpness 5 years from now. If the stars are lining up, go. And the last one from a financial standpoint is, if you're retiring before you qualify for Medicare, make sure you research your healthcare options thoroughly. Without a shadow of a doubt, you need to know how you're going to get coverage. The good news is, there are more options now than there were 20 years ago. We don't have the pre-existing conditions exclusion anymore, and the Affordable Care Act gives most of us a platform to find something we can afford. But don't skip this step. One of the most common ways people lose their nest egg in this country is a health crisis without insurance. I've seen it happen to people I know. Don't let it happen to you. Now let's talk about the emotional side. And honestly, this is where the real surprises were for me. The biggest thing I noticed is I feel so much more relaxed. When I was working, especially those last few years managing operations, I was always rushing from one thing to the next, always on the clock. Now I wake up and the pressure just isn't there. I don't have to rush. And I'll tell you, that feeling of not being in a hurry all the time, that's the single biggest change I felt since I retired. On the flip side, though, some of my relevance and recognition vanished. When I was the operations manager, people came to me with problems. I was part of the team. My boss, when he was a good one, would say, "Hey, great job on that shipment. We appreciate you keeping things running." That kind of recognition, even the small stuff, it adds up. And now it's gone. So hopefully the people in your life, your spouse, your kids, your friends, hopefully you're giving each other that recognition. Linda and I make a point of it now. We almost lost each other back in our late 40s because we stopped communicating. We went to counseling, saved the marriage, and one of the things we learned was to actually tell each other when we appreciate something. That matters even more now. The next one is routine. For 30 plus years, the alarm went off at 4:30 in the morning. I'd grab a breakfast sandwich at the gas station, be at the warehouse by 5:30, and go all day. Then I'd come home with just a couple hours to do everything else. That routine is gone, and I think it's super important that you replace it. The three areas I'm focusing on are health, relationships, and wealth. Though I'll caution you on the wealth side, it's tempting to sit there watching CNBC all day thinking you're being productive. But are you really moving the needle? For a lot of us, the answer is no. It might make more sense to hire a good fee-only financial advisor and let them worry about it so you can actually enjoy your life. Next is relationships. Some of my work relationships just evaporated. Guys I saw every day for years, we said we'd stay in touch, but life gets busy. Those connections don't just maintain themselves. You have to put in the effort, and that's something I'm still working on. A good one now. I lost a lot of responsibilities. The pressure that came with managing a warehouse, making sure shipments went out on time, keeping the team together, all of that weight on my shoulders, it's gone. And honestly, as we get older, that kind of constant pressure isn't great for your health. So this one I'm happy about. And the last one is restrictions. Restrictions on my time, restrictions on where I need to be, when I need to be there, all the meetings, all the deadlines. That's gone. And all of these things together, they can hit you in ways you don't expect. So make sure you're thinking not just about what you'll do in retirement, but about when the right time is to actually pull the trigger.